Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sonal Jain from Department of Anthropology, University of Delhi. In this series of lecture of forensic science, today we will be discussing about the police organizations. Police and forensic, they go hand in hand. If there is a case is being reported, it is being reported by the police, and then they inform the forensics about to reach the crime, to investigate the crime. So the police are the one who get to know about the case, they register the FIR of the case, and then they go through, appoint some officers, and they inform the forensic services to reach the investigation, the scene for the investigation. So we need to understand what are the different police organizations and how they work at different levels. There are different objectives of the police organizations. To understand the environment in which police functions, also to understand the police organizational setup and what are the functions of police and various departments of police which are involved in different fields. For example, if we have marine police, we have the police like NDRF which will help during the time of disasters. So different departments have different police, and this policing they have various categories and how they are defined. We will also be discussing about various ranks of police and how they are differentiated, what are the duties of all these ranks of police. Another major objective of discussing the police organization is to discuss the contemporary issues which are in policing nowadays. So, if we go by the definition, the word police is derived from Latin politia, which means citizenship, administration, civil polity. The constituted body of persons empowered by the state to enforce the law, protect the property, and to limit the civil disorder. So, when are we defining this word? Basically, we came across and we constituted this body who have certain powers which will help people if there is they need certain protection, there is a disorder which should be taken care of or which should be limited. For that, a constitution of body was required with certain powers. That's how police came into organization. They have certain duties like preserving the public order. If there is any mass riot, etc., then the police come in action. Different depending on what kind of rights are there, the severity of rights. We have the police at the state level, we have the police at the central level. Depending on what kind of civil disorder is taking place, the different types of police organization, they come into the picture. Another major duty and responsibility is to investigate crimes. The investigation of crimes of police, it goes hand in hand with the forensic services. The police, they along with the forensics, they go to the crime scene, they investigate the crime scene, and after proper noting down of FIR and all the collection of evidences from the police department, where they have a forensic team, the crime investigation team, which is always in accordance with the police. It stays at the different stations, the police stations at the state level. So the crime investigation forensics teams along with the police, they go to the investigation of the crime. From there they collect various evidences, and then those evidences via police are being sent to different forensic science labs for the investigation or for the analysis. Another important duty and responsibility is to maintain a feeling of security in community. It gives a sense of security to people, to persons, that there is a constituted body which can help us and which will thoroughly help us if there is any disorder, public disorder, civil disorder, or if there will be any riots. So, or if someone has committed a crime, then there is this one constituted body where we can go to. Coming next to the history, the model which is being adopted by the Indian police was given by the Irish constabulary model, which was first adopted in Sindh in 1843, which was given by Sir Charles Napier. So in the 1843, this Irish constabulary model was being adopted by Indians. The guiding principles of these models were: the police must be completely separated from the military. The military and the army will be a different rank, and the police professionals will be different ranks. They must be an independent body to assist the collectors in discharging their responsibility for law and order, but under their own officers. So, whenever there is any civil disorders, then depending on in which area that particular crime has happened, that particular disorder has happened, or the right has happened, the proper that crime will be reported to that area in which line this police will be lying. So at the central level, if we see that a particular crime has happened in the boundary of this particular state. So the constabulary model, according to that, we have different state police forces. So the model which is being adopted by Indians, the Indian democratic system, is the state police force model, where the police is a state subject. Every state have their own police, and if there is any crime related to whether there is any traffic violence or any other crime of burglary, first they look for under which state that particular crimes lie, and that state police force comes into action depending upon their area. So the state police force organization and the working is governed by rules and regulations which are outlined in the police manuals. Our Police Act was written in 1861, and those rules and regulations are being followed by each state police. The IPS constitutes the bulk of senior officers to the state police force. So the Indian Police Services, it constitutes all the senior officers of a state police force. According to the Police Act of 1861, there are certain duties of police which are being defined: to promptly obey and execute all orders and warrants lawfully issued to him by any competent authority. So, if any orders they come from any senior person, they should be obeyed and executed by the police, the state police. To collect and communicate intelligence affecting the public peace, to detect and bring offenders to justice, and to apprehend all persons whom he is legally authorized to apprehend and for whose apprehension sufficient ground exists. So, if the duties of police are being defined in section 1860 in the Act of 1861, they cannot use their power in a wrong way. Whenever they are apprehending someone, then there should be sufficient ground, sufficient orders, sufficient search warrants if they are searching someone, because the power which is being provided to this constituted body should not be used in any wrong way or any wrong means. Another duties which is being defined is to prevent the commission of offences and public nuisances. So there are cases whenever there is any religious festival and there might be certain chances of any riots to be happening. The police come in action, they put certain acts where people cannot together gather in groups, so that the situation of riot can be easily managed. It is lawful for every police officer for any of the purpose mentioned in this section without a warrant to enter and inspect any drinking shop, gaming house or other place of resort of loose and disorderly characters. So, whenever the duties of police, whatever they are being mentioned in the Act of Police 1861, they should be being followed, and they should only make any arrest or any searches whenever they have proper warrants from the competent authority. No use of power can be made by them, and complaints can be registered against even the police officers if they are not following the rules or the duties which are being mentioned in the Police Act 1861. So, the Act defines the duties and responsibility of the police officers, as well as it is also defined about the police chief. So, if we are talking about the whole model of the police constituency, the police chief, which is the head in a state, could be the Director General or IGP, that is DG or IGP, Inspector General of Police or the Director General of Police. The head of the police in every state is IGP, Inspector General of Police, and he can be upgraded to that to the Director General of Police. Now, the major duties of the DGP or the IGP is to maintain organizational efficiency through the constant supervision. The DGP or the IGP will give orders to the officers who are below the rank, and those officers will then take care of the whole organizational structure, and by the rank the orders are being given from the senior rank to the more junior ranks. They also have to monitor the adequacy of personnel and equipment. Another duty is to arrange adequate accommodation as well as communication, to ensure the maintenance of discipline, to undertake periodic inspections of police establishments, to frame rules and orders with the approval of the state government and in accordance with the Police Act, which he considers necessary for augmenting efficiency. So, the rules and orders which are being made by the DGP or the IGP, they should be in accordance and in approval of the state government. So, the DGP and IGP, they whatever rules they are forming or the orders they are giving to their junior rank officers, they should come after the approval from the state government, and after discussion and after considering the augmenting efficiency, they should be applied and moved forward. They also ensure the internal economy. Another major duties which come apart from the maintaining the peace, it's the preparation of annual budget, allotment of the grant to subordinate officers, and observe financial rules in the expenditure. They also act as the principal advisor to the state government in the matters concerning police administration. For example, responsible for college and communication of collection and communication of intelligence, keeping government informed on the crime situation, about they have to make and control the crime which is being happening in their state. They have to look at the crime records and see at what is the percentage of crime which is being happening in the state, and they should take measures to reduce that percentage of crime in their state. They advise governments on matters affecting security of the state, also advise the government on matters affecting the security of VIPs. So, the DGP and the IGP, they hand in hand take responsibilities of the security measures of various VIPs, that may include the Chief Minister of the state, the Governor of the state, and other MLAs of the state. They also inform the government of various disasters and undertake police response. The head of the security, they have to look for if any disaster, natural disaster is taking place. For example, if there are floods or if there is any earthquake situation, that time the DGP and IGP, they call a meeting and they make rules and orders to give to their subordinates and to make a policy for the special disaster situation or how the police will respond to undertake such situation. They also advise the government and assume control on deployment of police, paramilitary forces during statewide events like elections, widespread violence and huge congregations of people and places like Kumbh Mela, etc. So, the DGP and IGP in the cases where there is any big event, any Rath Yatra, any Melas or any other statewide elections are being going on, or if there are any chances of widespread violence, dharnas, etc., at that time they have to assume control and deploy the police forces or the paramilitary forces depending upon what is the requirement of the state at that point of action. Now, if we are talking about the policing, the police observe and it has its duty and responsibilities according to what are the it is defined in the Police Act of 1861. But now we have community policing. Now, what is community policing? It is an organizational strategy which gave an epochal shift in the fundamental culture of police organization. The warrior model which is being defined in the Act is replaced by the different model of policing, which is based on the notion that police and community can become co-producers of public safety rather than hostile antagonists. So, sometimes it happens in certain cases that if the police try to misuse their power, then the society goes against them. For such cases, the community policing came into picture and this model was adopted from United States of America. John Agnell defined the term community policing or democratic policing in the year 1971. There are certain criteria of community policing or democratic policing which are being defined and which are being followed by different countries. Community policing seen as a change empowering citizens to have a voice in deciding how police services should be carried out in the community. So, the Police Act which was being framed, the police officers, the DGP, the IGP, they were acting according to that. But in the community policing, the citizens who are the residents of that country, that society, that states, they give a voice or they decide how police services should be carried out in the community. Reorientation of policing philosophy and strategy away from the view that police alone can reduce crime, disorder and fear, and they have to go hand in hand with the citizens of that country. The community policing was a tool to change police subculture and it was adopted from USA, which was inward looking, isolated from the public and defenses in the face of criticism. There are certain elements of community policing. One is community partnerships, where participatory model of development is being followed. They practice servicing as opposed to emergency response. The problem solving attitude of the police officers, where public participation in planning and supervision of police operations is being done. Organizational transformations, where shifting of command responsibility is being given to even the lower rank levels, where in certain cases they can take orders or they can also take their own decisions. This community policing, as which was defined in 1971, the experiments were conducted for the community policing in India and they were really successful. Certain examples were the Friends of Police movement, which was conducted in the year 1993 at Ramnath. There was Bhavnagar experience in Gujarat in 2005 for the community policing. Jan Maitri Suraksha Padati in Kerala in 2008. Suraksha Setu Safe City, it was adopted by the city Surat in the year 2013, and Amma Police in the same year 2013 by the state Odisha. All these models were based on the community policing, and the police, they were adopting where the citizens of the country and the police, they were going hand in hand to make the state or the country to better place for living. Now the need for community policing in India is because it has community specific advantages which results in an improved environment, empowerment of communities and redressal of their grievances. India is a country where we have different religions and different communities, and every community needs to be represented. We don't want that there should be any differences between the different communities on the matters of policing. So, with the model of this community policing, the police and the leaders from different communities, they can put forward their point, and which can help us or the country to move forward and to make the environment of the state to live in peacefully. This community policing also helps us in the creation of positive attitude towards police, prevention and reduction of crime rates, and the best use of scarce resources. Also, from the community policing, if different communities can tell about their grievances, what they are going through, then those grievances or the matters can be taken in hand to hand and can be solved easily. So, the police specific advantages of the community policing are easy detection of crimes and effective patrolling. If the citizens from the state are involved, then they can easily tell or can easily inform the police about what crime has happened and can help in the effective patrolling. It leads to the work satisfaction and the empowerment of rank and file. It also improves the police community relationship. Also, the potential instrument in fighting insurgency. It is instrumental in upholding the law and maintaining public order, decrease in the police-citizen conflict, better and improved exchange of communication between police and community. So, if citizens are directly involved in the community policing, the police-citizen conflict will be very less, and due to this decrease in the citizen police conflict, the place to live in and the environment will be better. So, to conclude, the better and improved exchange of communication between the citizens of the country and between the police will always help us to live in a better place, a better state and in a better country. Thank you.